The Oklahoma City Thunder select Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga University.
What a pass. Giddy underneath for JRE. The reverse and the rookie-to-rookie action. SGA defended closely by Westbrook. Tough. Step back. Gets up the shot. Banks it in for the lead.
This is Udart. You're listening to the Uncontested.
What is up, and welcome to the Uncontested Podcast, coming to you live Sunday, May 28th. Had to pull up my calendar real quick to figure out what day it was. I'm your host for the evening, Jacob Niffen. Got JD Silva with me.
Fellas.
Got Kamiar.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can. Hey guys, it's 9:09. It's Central Time in America.
We started this podcast and there was still a little bit of sunlight outside, and it made me very happy.
That's why I like the summer so much.
Same. We are brought to you by the dailythunder.com, thedailythunder.com, and the Blue Wire Podcast Network. Gentlemen, let's talk some basketball.
I would love to talk some basketball. I assumed that's why we were here.
We could talk some Derek White. We'll get to around the association. I lost my damn mind when I saw that.
Happy. I was unhappy.
I didn't think he made it.
I thought he made it. I was pissed immediately.
I was pissed at the Marcus Smart shot.
Yeah.
And then he tipped that in, and I was like, I don't think that's good. And they showed the slow-mo replay, and I was like,
insanity,
oh my
dude.
god!
It looked like it hit backboard before the light went off to me, I guess.
Shout out to Derek White, man. What a play.
No, I was so mad. That was clutch. Like, you realize how big of balls Jimmy Butler has to have to do that?
Oh, the three free throws? Yeah.
Boston almost played themselves with the challenge.
That's true. That was weird. Yeah.
Anyways.
It was wild.
Wild.
Draft is approaching June 22nd. That means we are 3.5 weeks away from the NBA draft. 3.5 weeks away isn't long. We're going to start getting like quite a bit of scuttlebutt, quite a bit of rumors. Those draft podcasts where Woj or Zach Lowe have on somebody like Gavoni, where Sam Vecini has somebody on, and you get some of these talks of possible trades and what's being rumored out there. Like, that stuff is very soon about to like be hitting your podcast feeds. It's one of my favorite times of the NBA calendar. So before all that stuff gets here, guys, I thought tonight we could talk about every Thunder fan's favorite topic, which is trading up in the draft. Thunder currently sit at pick 12. There's a lots to talk about, like who's ahead of them, what players they may go for. So I figured we would start at pick 1, go all the way down to pick 11, and see, are there any spots where the Thunder, like, logically could make a trade to move up in this draft? Before we start, I did a little bit of homework. I want to give you guys some context. We're going to make this into a little game. I'm going to tell you about a trade, and then I want you guys to see if you can figure out what the contents of that trade was.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Fun. Yeah.
Sure.
It'll make sense once I start, Kamiar. So first, I looked up the past 5 years of draft night trades for the Thunder. 5 years, they've made 5 trades each year. Or sometimes even it's actually more than 5 trades, but they've made a trade each year on draft night. So let's go back and see if you guys can figure them out. Last year's the easy one. Thunder trade 3 protected firsts for pick 11 and get
Ousmane Dieng.
Ousmane Dieng, yes.
Almost blew it in a big spot.
Well, you said start to say Jaden?
No, I almost said J-Dub, but he was 12. And
okay.
In 2021, the Thunder made a trade in the first round. They got pick 16. Wait. They traded pick 16 to get pick 18 and 2 future firsts. Pick 16, the pick they traded, ended up being who?
a player that it's Alperen Şengün.
It is Alperen Şengün. They slid down 2 spots to 18 to select
Kamiar,
Who they select?
Trey Man.
Trey Man.
Man. The guy that, I just predicted a score line when what it would be, and I knew it. So call me a genius.
So last year it took
And a
3
wizard.
protected firsts to buy pick 11. In 21, it took 2 protected firsts for Houston to move from 18 to 16. In 21, the Thunder also made a second round trade. They traded picks 34 and 36 to move up to 32.
Yeah.
Who'd they take at 32?
Is that JRE?
That would be JRE.
Cool.
Very good. In 2020, the Thunder made a trade in the first round. They sent out pick 25, pick 28, and Ricky Rubio in exchange for pick 17. Who did they take at 17?
2020.
2020.
Is that Poku?
That was the Poku draft.
Okay, wow.
Boy.
25 ended up being Emmanuel Quickly. 28 ended up being Jaden McDaniels.
Well, that's depressing.
That is depressing.
Yeah. Maybe not the best trade. In 2019, Oklahoma City traded pick 21. They slid down the board 2 spots to 23 and picked up a future second round pick. Who did they get at 23?
Is that
Oh, Terrence Ferguson, right?
No,
is Baze?
this would be the
Baze?
Baisley draft.
Okay, it was one of
Yes.
the bad players. Okay.
Didn't they miss horribly on a guy that was like right in that range? I forget
Grant
exactly.
Williams was available.
Mhm.
Do you know who went 21? Who the Thunder had 21? They traded the pick away to Memphis.
Was it Desmond Bain?
That's not that's not the OG
No,
Ananobi one.
no.
Brandon Clark?
Brandon Clark.
But he
He was an older player.
was an older
Yeah,
player.
Gonzaga guy. It's kind of surprising. Press didn't take the Gonzaga guy.
Mhm.
Brandon
All right,
Clark?
here's the deep cut.
Brandon Clark is Gonzaga?
Mhm.
Huh.
He and Rui Hachimura were the front court in Gonzaga that year.
Really?
Wow.
I like me some Rui Hachimura, let me tell you that. I think he's really kind of like Jeremy Grantish, but super fun.
Yeah. In 2018, this one's the deep cut. The Oklahoma City Thunder traded a 2019 second round pick and cash to get pick 45.
Ooh.
Who did they get at pick 45 in the 2018 draft?
Hold on.
45? 45.
Arguably the most athletic player to ever come through Oklahoma City.
Is it
Okay.
Hamadou?
Hamadou Diallo.
Oh, wow.
Very good.
Is he still in Detroit? No.
Yeah, yeah,
He is?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
Somewhere.
Still doing just dunking and not playing too much defense.
just
But
making
he's
things happen.
improved, hasn't he?
Yes, he's pretty.
Yeah, he
pretty
kind of
solid.
purged the 3-point shot this year.
Yeah, good. He needed to do
So, 2022, the Thunder get a pick in the lottery, pick number 11 for 3 protected firsts. 2021, they slid back 2 spots, but got 2 protected firsts for it. 2020, they traded up the board to 17. 2019, they slid down the board. 2018, they bought a second round pick. So Presti likes to make moves on draft night. I feel like this year will be the same. Maybe it won't be trading up from 12, but I feel like a trade will happen with the Thunder. So the next thing I looked up were lottery trades on draft night. Okay. A pick in the top 14 getting moved, because that's what we're talking about tonight.
Right.
Trading up from 12.
This is a very long lead into that.
I know.
It's a
He's slow
journey.
cooking us right now.
In
It's a
2022, there were 3 protected first round picks traded for pick 11. We just talked about how that's the Usman Jing.
Yeah.
There was also a future first round pick plus Kemba Walker traded
Kimba.
to get pick number 13. Remember who was taken 13? Who Kemba and the first was moved for?
Wait, say what year?
Last year,
Oh, it's
right after J-Dub.
Come on. Mark
No.
Williams, but no.
Oh, that's
No.
14. Good guess.
Jalen Duren?
Jalen Duren.
Yep, Duran.
Okay. Okay.
In 2021, Jonas Valanciunas, pick 17 and pick 51 were traded for Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, pick 10 and pick 40. Do you guys remember who was taken with pick 10 that year?
No.
Who was the team that drafted, or who made
Yeah,
the pick?
that would be helpful.
This would be New Orleans and Memphis made the swap. Memphis got pick number 10 and Steven Adams in the trade. And they made a selection at number 10. This trade actually happened like a week before draft day, which is very weird.
Was
You
it?
said 2021?
Yes.
I could see this player in my head. He played at Stanford.
Mhm.
God, what is his name? He didn't play like in the playoffs at all.
I have no
It's not
idea.
Trey. I always get him and Trey Murphy mixed up. Zaire.
Williams.
Yes.
Very good.
Good for you.
2020, surprisingly enough, 2020, not a single lottery pick was traded. 2020 would be the Ant Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton draft. No lottery picks moved. Now, 2019, lots of lottery picks moved. Pick 11 and Dario Saric were traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves in return for pick 6 going to, I got that backwards. Pick 11 and Saric went to Phoenix. Minnesota got pick 6. Do you remember who they took with pick 6 in 2019?
God, come on. Where is it? Pick 6.
Big 12 guy, Kamiar.
Yeah, it was the Texas Tech kid because I can't remember his name.
He's like out of the league.
Yep. Jared Culver.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Man,
right,
I
Culver.
thought he would be good.
I remember he was a Texas Tech kid. Well, he didn't do crap in the Final Four, especially in the national title game when they needed him. There was a lot of question marks about him going into like how he had high upside, but like he wasn't sure, and clearly that's been coming to fruition.
This was the same year that pre-draft, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, and the 4th overall pick, plus 3 future firsts, got traded for Anthony Davis.
Yep.
And then on draft night, pick 4 got moved for pick 8, 7, and 35. Any clue who got taken there?
I picked 4.
In what year?
This is 2019.
Who picked that 4?
The Atlanta Hawks made the trade. They got pick 4. In return, they gave up pick 8, 17, and 35.
Trey Young, maybe?
Nope. We're about to get there, though. This would be DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, pick 3 was traded for pick 5 and a future first. You guys remember who the 3 and 5 swap was?
Was that Trey and Luka?
It was Luka. Trey.
This was the Trey Luka swap.
Yeah. God, what a mess up from Atlanta.
Yeah,
I mean, the story of Atlanta's. Well, anyway, sorry.
Well, you think that one's bad? That same night, 2018, pick 10 was traded for pick 16 plus Zaire Smith plus a future first round pick.
Yeah.
That was problematic
Yeah.
because Zaire Smith didn't do anything.
It was Mikhail.
That was the Mikal Bridges pick. They gave up Mikal, who went to Villanova, which is in Philly, whose mom works for the Philadelphia 76ers, and Philly traded him.
Yeah.
Sorry,
People always
Joel.
say, like, has the process even worked? Has it worked? Why aren't they winning? They tanked for so long, but they've made so many bad decisions like that
Yeah.
on the way, like blown it so many times.
Also, like, I mean, guys just like haven't performed. Like Tobias Harris and those dudes, like they get to the playoffs and then they just like they make the Eastern Conference Finals and then it's back to the drawing board.
And then letting Tobias Harris walk and then re-trading for him a couple of years later and giving up multiple firsts.
Stupid.
One more trade on in the lottery in 2018. So 3, 5, 10 were all traded, and 11 and 12. Pick 11 and 12 got swapped, and the cost to move up was 2 seconds to go up one spot.
Weird.
The Clippers went from 12 to 11. Who did they take?
Shea.
They took Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
And I think, didn't Jerome Robinson go there?
Uh-huh. Yep.
That's
Not
funny.
the best.
No.
Not the best. So over the past 5 years, in 4 of those 5, a lottery pick, at least one, has been traded. In 5 of the past 5 years, the Thunder have made a draft night trade involving picks. There is precedence for the Thunder to do something on draft night this year. There's definitely evidence that would suggest that. So let's go through the draft order. That's the word I was looking for. This year, I'm going to give you guys the pick, and then you simply tell me, can the Thunder trade for that selection? Okay?
Let's
What
And when I say
teams-
trade,
What teams have already mentioned that they're open to trading? Because haven't there been a few?
yeah, we'll definitely hit those ones. And I'll tell you which ones have been already rumored to be on the move. Now, when I ask you, can the Thunder trade for them? I mean, like,
Can they or
the
will
Thunder
they?
could trade for 3 if you want to give up, like, J-Dub.
Could they
Right.
get there? Yeah,
Like, realistically.
with their assets.
So pick one, San Antonio Spurs.
That's a no.
No,
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
There's no way in
I
hell
saw
San Antonio.
I saw a fake trade from like Bleacher Report this week that was like Chet and J-Dub and some picks for Wemby. Like
even
just
then,
log
I don't
off.
think they would do it.
No, just
Yeah,
log
San
off.
Antonio would hang up the phone.
Yep.
If San Antonio even thought about it, that's a win. That means you've
Yeah.
got some crazy good assets.
Mm-hmm.
Pick 2, Charlotte Hornets.
I mean, no.
No,
It's-
they
maybe
have
if you
bigger-
offered them 12 4 firsts and Chet, and that's just not happening. You offer
Right.
them 12
Not
4 firsts and J-Dub, like, you maybe could get the pick. You're just not. The Thunder aren't giving up the assets that are required.
Not
they
worth
need
the
need
price
it
of admission.
too much.
Number 3, the Portland Trailblazers.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Which I say they could because
This
I
one
mean,
is definitely available.
But at the
Portland
same
has
time,
already sent out, like, this
Yeah.
pick is gettable.
it depends on what they want to do with their franchise.
Totally.
I think and this is the perennial being loyal to a superstar or once superstar could kill your franchise. And they have been years past a much needed rebuild. And could they, if they chose to, still stay with Dame, then that pick is super gettable, right? Because
Mhm.
they're not really looking too much for rookies. If that's the case, if they want to stay with Dame and Dame wants to win, they want win now players, so they'd be willing to sell that pick. But if the ownership actually develops some sort of common sense and sees the writing on the wall that is clearly in front of them, because how old is Dame Lillard? Like 32?
31, I think.
Okay, he's definitely in his early 30s, which is
Mhm.
he's very near the end of his career. The smartest thing to do is just sell, and in that case, that pick is not gettable.
Yeah. If you're moving off Dame, you're keeping pick 3.
Yeah,
Right.
If you're keeping Dame and moving 3, you are trying to get stuff that helps you win right now.
yeah, it's pieces.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Thunder have the stuff to help them win right
No,
now.
they don't have the Reese's pieces.
If they had,
just got the pieces,
if they had pick 11 and they wanted Lou and something else, maybe something like that could work.
Yeah, I just
But
don't see
even
that.
then,
And
It's not
the other
happening.
argument is a 3-team deal
Yep.
where really good vets go to Portland, a collection of picks go to the team that traded the vets, and OKC gets pick 3. At which case, my argument is why have the middleman? Why doesn't the team that's trading away the vets just take pick 3 and get a really good player?
Yeah.
You know? So I don't see a pathway to a deal there.
Yeah. I've been pretty baffled by even members, even major fans, media members from Portland are like, no,
It's
we're
insane.
trading pick 3. Why is it even an option to draft someone there? It's like, man, they don't want to. They're afraid to move on from Dame, which I understand. He's been a winning player his entire career. He's awesome. Who knows if he'll have another player like him anytime soon? But I don't know. Maybe
He's the best player in Portland history.
Right. Maybe it's just that we are used to a pretty good draft history in Oklahoma City, and we have faith in our GM to make the right decisions and rebuilds. Maybe they just don't want to go through that. I don't know.
And like I could see people making that same case for Oklahoma City maybe needing to sell off Russell Westbrook earlier in his career, but I mean,
Shit, what they got for Russ was still a steal.
but
Still a steal.
like you just came off of the whole Paul George stuff, and when Andre Robertson was healthy, they really looked like they could maybe make some noise. And so, of course, like you have this late resurgence after the weird MVP season. Yeah. And so that changed the game because they thought they could have made some noise. And then, of course, tale as old as time, PG gets hurt in the playoffs. They can't play. And that's what it is. But with Dame, it's a completely different scenario where they've had mostly the same players on the roster, not a lot of fluidity, not many game changers, even though like what Shaden Sharp did this year, they just don't have the dudes. They don't they would have maybe have been better served with CJ McCollum still in the roster.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know ultimately what they get offered for 3. Apparently the deal is like 3 and Anthony Simons for
whoever
something. Somebody floated like 3 Simons and Sharp for PG, which was like kind of interesting.
Do you think Denver would be intrigued by that because they have dudes?
I think Denver is going to keep the core together for as long as possible. Like this is the squad they're going to ride, and I think that's probably the right choice for Denver.
Sure,
the continuity has paid off big time for them. All right, so we agree the Thunder cannot get pick 3. Yes,
sure. Yeah, it's based on context.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Pick 4, Houston Rockets. Houston, it's reported this pick could be available as well. The Harden rumors are producing more and more and more smoke. This is a team that wants to push the chips to the middle. They don't want to rebuild anymore.
Yeah, which is another similar talk to the one we just had with Portland, except like way worse to me.
Yeah. To me, pick 4 is the same argument as Portland. They're just the things that they would want are not the things that OKC has.
Yeah.
The only interesting part of this argument to me is this is perceived to be a 3-man draft with Wemby, Scoot, and Miller. And Houston has pick 4. And so I think that holds quite a bit less value unless one of those top 3 slip.
Yeah. I mean, in any trade here, OKC would just be a middleman. Again, facilitating assets to Houston so they could trade for whoever they're actually trying to get to, quote unquote, win now.
You give us 4, we give you 12 and your picks back and something else so you can go make other trades, which again, my argument would be, wouldn't the team that Houston's going to then trade with just want pick 4?
Right.
I don't think any of this stuff gets like really like, especially the earlier picks. I don't think they get moved off of. Like we say things like, oh, it's a 3-player draft. No, it's a 2-player draft. But then like 3 years, 2 years, 1 year with Josh Giddey and J-Dub, as we both saw the last couple of years, turned out it wasn't a 3-player draft. And so, I mean, of course, again, with Houston, I think it's contextually based on, does James Harden go to Houston? If he does, what the heck does that even mean for that team? He's at the end of his career. He's not what he used to be. It's kind of like watching Kyle Lowry these days, where he was the dude in Toronto and now is coming off the bench with a very limited roster. And so I don't think that, I mean, Houston's a bad organization. Don't get me wrong. Like, they suck at a lot of things. But I think they'll keep 4.
I hope you're right.
I'd be shocked if they moved off of 4, unless, of course, they were securing Harden. Then you trade 4 for players.
I'd be mad as a Rockets fan, not to like go down this Houston path for too much longer, but I'd be mad if I was a Rockets fan. I would want a guy like Amen Thompson there rather than bringing in. I mean, I guess you could bring in Harden too, but I would rather. Everyone I've heard talk that works in Houston in media, Kelly Iko, for example, has always said, well, they don't want to bring in any more young guys. They have enough young guys. It's like, I don't know if that's a reason to push your chips
You
in.
can't
It's just
say
you
we have
too
enough
many
young guys and also be giving Kevin Porter Jr. minutes.
Right.
It's just the stupidest thing. It's just the dumbest thing to think that Oklahoma City, we've been having all these conversations about drafting well, developing talent, maybe having a vet on the team, which is Kenrich Williams, who is, like him and some other guys are in their late 20s as the vets. And Oklahoma City never once pushed all of their chips into the middle of the table. They just fire sale. They rebuild it. They rebuilt. And for Houston to not even come close to where Oklahoma City is at, and to be saying unless they are dead sure Harden is coming back to Houston, but not in the same shape he was and not the same player he was when he played at Houston last, unless they're dead set that he's actually coming back, pushing all their chips in the middle with what they have is like the dumbest thing, but it's also the most Houston thing.
It is the most Houston thing.
I know I'm playing both sides of the coin here as far as saying they got to take 4. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised with an organization as bad as Houston, they would give that up.
I could see it. I could definitely see them moving 4 in pieces to get something that Harden wants. It would just
Jaylen Brown.
I mean, I don't know if Boston's going to move off of
that.
him.
Boston's not doing that.
Probably not.
They're about to win a Game 7 and go play in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
All right, so pick 4 is a no.
Yeah.
Pick 5 is Detroit.
Yeah, it's feels like a similar situation. I don't know what they would gain from trading back.
I don't know why Detroit would trade 5.
They still need top end talent, and that's your best chance, at least.
I think if Detroit trades 5, it is because they are moving up the board, not down.
Weren't there some comments most recently made about Detroit by about the organization or the players or something like that, by Dwayne Casey or something like that? Or am I just crazy?
You might be crazy.
I might be crazy.
I don't know.
But again, Detroit actually seems like a team that's trying to build off of the youth and tank and to do so. And it sucked that they got 5, right? That was the whole gig. So no, I don't think they're trading 5. They would be remiss to do so. I mean, they're tanking just like OKC is. OKC just had Shea.
Detroit has 9 centers on their team, and they've made some weird decisions, but they're at least being patient.
Yeah. Derek Parker, in his latest mock draft, suggested Detroit trade 5 and Bojan Bogdanovic to move up to 4 and get Amen Thompson, or if a Brandon Miller or somebody slips.
Sure.
That's
I could see Detroit making a trade like that.
Yeah.
I don't see them trading back in this draft.
Yeah, no, I don't see them giving that up for a player.
Bogdanovic is such a hardened teammate. Just
100%.
Yeah,
just catch and shoot, baby, and don't
sit in the
me.
corner and just catch and shoot. Okay, so 1 through 5 not gettable for OKC is our perspective.
Yeah.
Pick 6, the Orlando Magic.
It's probably a no.
I don't see why Orlando would try to pick.
I don't see why either.
They're building something fun down there. They have a lot of great pieces.
Yeah.
And they have a chance to add another really good piece to that core of Paulo and Franz and friends.
Franz and friends.
That's what I think they will do. I don't see why they would move off of 6.
If they would, I think it'd be back to 8 or something.
But I bet OKC, legitimately, I bet OKC could pry the pick away.
That's true. The other thing is Orlando still has some future assets that they got from the Aaron Gordon and Vucevic trades.
Yeah.
I don't know what they got in the Evan Fournier deal, but they still have some future capital.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that makes them less likely to want more future capital. And
Makes
they would
sense.
probably want a player instead.
Yeah.
Also, if they trade back from 6, that would give them both picks 11 and 12. again, I feel like Orlando is a team that's going to try to package 6, 11, and something. I mean, if they could go get Scoot, like if for
That
some
would be
reason,
a game changer for them.
if
for
for
sure.
some reason Charlotte passes on Scoot and he falls to 3 to Portland, 6, 11, Wendell Carter Jr. and something else to go up to 3 to get Scoot, and then Portland gets Wendell Carter Jr. and then can look to flip 6 and 11. That's a case where I could see where the Thunder could maybe get pick 6
That's
if
like
it got traded
really
once
enticing.
already. But
That's really good.
I mean, OKC has the war chest. They can offer pretty much anything and get probably picks 4, 5, and 6 if they really wanted to unload the clip, but they won't.
yes, agreed. And I do not see them moving. We know they're not moving off of Shea. There is nothing in this draft save Victor Wembanyama that I think they're moving J-Dub, Chet, or Giddey for.
Right.
I just don't see it. Silva, you good?
Yeah, there's a what I think is a band student that lives either a floor above or below me, and I can very occasionally hear him just wailing away on a clarinet. It's just
Oh,
like
hell yeah.
very faint.
You
but
live
he's
next to
going-
Squidward.
Yeah, basically, he's going hard right now.
All right, so pick 1 through 6 we say are ungettable for Oklahoma City. Let's here take a quick break, and then on the other side, we'll finish out the lottery. All right,
That was a quick
gentlemen,
break.
that was a good break. Pick number 7 belongs to the Indiana Pacers. Can the Thunder trade for this pick?
The first question is, would Indiana be curious to move off the pick or to hear questions
I feel like that
as an
answer is no.
organization?
Yeah,
This, out of all the ones we've kind of talked about, this is the one where I just feel like they're just going to make a pick and stay at 7.
I feel like if anything, Indiana would try to move up, but again, same thing. If OKC really wanted pick 7, they could offer several players.
Yeah, you could try to overwhelm them.
You could definitely overwhelm Indiana. I think I think a first and heck even J-Dub would do it. Maybe
Yeah.
a couple firsts, but I just don't see Indiana OKC doing that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they would want anybody at 7 right now. Because I realistically don't think OKC is gonna move off of their pick.
It's fair. I mean, they
I
very well
think-
could just stand pat and just pick. I mean,
I
12's
think they know
been
what
very
they
kind to
have.
them in the past.
I think they know what they have already. And of course, everybody wants to get better. But they are going to go scout, and sure, they might move up a couple of spots to get a guy around where they need. But I don't think they're in the business of maybe getting a superstar this year because they know they
Yeah.
can't attain those superstars.
That's fair.
Unless it's like a Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell situation. Then, like, you go and obviously you get those guys because you have the assets.
I think at 7, undoubtedly at 7, one of Cam Whitmore, Taylor Hendricks, or Jarris Walker will be available. And Indiana's just going to take the guy that they like the most of those 3. I think they need a front court guy to pair next to Miles Turner, and they're going to do it. I think it's that simple.
But I think by pick 6, Presti is talking to all the GMs or
100%.
or whatever their communication kind of like thing is, and I think they're asking like, hey, who are you planning to pick at whatever, and they just keep tabs on it, and in case their guy they maybe really want after all the evaluations go on and after all the secret evals go on that they might actually want to move up on. So I think pick 6 is when they start actually monitoring that pretty seriously.
I think that's probably fair.
I actually think the next pick in this draft that we're doing is where things could get a little crazy.
Yeah, let's move on to it. Pick number 8 belongs to the Washington Wizards. Silva, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah. So specifically, what interests me here is one, it's the Wizards. They feel like they're always pick 8. They always end up having pick 8 to 10. So they probably feel comfortable moving off of it and just accumulating more assets. Another big thing that signals they could potentially truly choose a direction as a franchise for the first time in what feels like forever is they just hired Michael Winger, who is the Clippers GM. He has kind of been behind a lot of major trades, big swings. So he doesn't seem afraid to take big swings. I feel like that's what the Wizards have needed forever is a big swing in some direction, either to acquire more talent or slide down and truly rebuild. So maybe they'd be willing.
So not only did they hire Michael Winger, who has been in Oklahoma City, has a history with Presti, he's not going to be the one being like the GM of the Wizards, though. He's hiring a GM, and the leading candidate per Mark Stein, I want to say Mark Spears, Mark Stein, is Will Dawkins, who has been Presti's right-hand man since 2008.
Wow.
So there's some tie-ins there. They may finally choose a direction, shit or get off the pot. And one thing I look at with them, they owe their own first-round pick. They traded that pick. I believe it got traded in the John Wall, Russell Westbrook deal.
Mm-hmm.
It is top 10 protected for like the next 3 years. So they may keep their pick next year if it's in the top 10. They may lose it if it falls outside of the top 10. If they keep it, it rolls over and it's protected the next year. And then the next year, they are a team that's kind of stuck in this middle ground with not only do they not have excess future picks, they're actually limited with their own future picks. This is a team that I could see with new leadership wanting to accumulate some assets and being willing to slide down the board 4 spots. This is the first one that I've kind of targeted as the Thunder could get to this position. It's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I think I think one of, and you said some of these names before, one of Cam Whitmore, Jarris Walker, Taylor Hendricks, or even Asar Thompson could be in that range still. Probably will be in that range still, at least one of them.
Definitely. Well, you kind of know who the top 4 are.
Right.
Right. And then after that, I mean, it's
kind of
up in the air.
One of
so many. What is a trade to 8? I think we all are kind of in agreement that 8 could be gettable.
Sure.
What does a deal look like, though? It's 12 plus what?
So I'm thinking of picks past. It depends on if we want to look at just OKC's picks. I mean, they could trade 12 this year and the first next year. Does that get it done?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think you're probably trading 12 plus 3 firsts to get to 8 was my assumption.
And are those firsts, which firsts? I assume at least two of those are OKC's.
I mean, you could do that. You have a Denver top 10 protected. You have a Utah top 10 protected. I don't know how juicy those are.
Would you really be willing to move up from 12 to 8 for 4 first rounders?
I mean, last year they bought 11 for 3 first rounders. The thing is that they can't make all the picks. At some point, you have to consolidate them.
That's fine, and I think they use that for future actual players and assets. But I think it's wild to think that they would use, especially they're bringing in rookies constantly every year. But if they're ready to push for the playoffs in the next 2 to 3 years, unless they just want to let this thing naturally grow, I don't know. I'm
becoming more and more on team. I think they're just going to use their picks to trade to get better picks versus they're going to move picks to make their Donovan Mitchell trade.
So it's not like you think they're doing the opposite of what Danny Ainge would do as far as getting all those picks and then eventually just not saying, well, we tried at the trade deadline.
I think I don't know why. I'm just becoming more and more like they're not going to make their Donovan Mitchell trade. They're not going to make their
But their
Paul
history
George
shows
trade.
their history shows that they have, and they would. You just mentioned precedent.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, I think there's also a lot of evidence that they make trades on draft night almost like every year to try to get guys on the board that they want. I also have been thinking a lot about how the way the new CBA is set up, first round picks are going to become an even more sought after commodity. And at some point, this Thunder team will be spending for Shea, for Josh, for Dub, for Chet. They'll be in that range where the CBA punishes you for being over that second cap or that second tax apron, where you can't aggregate salaries to go make trades. You can't put different things together to go make trades. And really the only team building asset you have is draft picks. So I think draft capital will become more valuable to teams. And so I wonder if they will move lots of picks for a current player, because the window to do that is starting to shrink, because once that new CBA hits and the Thunder are big spenders, which is on the horizon, the CBA prevents you from doing that.
So do you think then that causes the NBA with Adam Silver, because Adam Silver certainly is not the type of GM, or not GM, but whatever it is, that Stern was. Do you think then they crack down on tanking and with the thought of relegation, possibly, because Adam Silver, with what he's doing in the NBA, is very reminiscent of any sort of major soccer league over in Europe, quite frankly. And so do you think then they would crack down on teams much harder for trying to tank regarding draft capital, if that's the way you think they're intending to go?
I definitely think so.
And how
I
would
don't
what
think
would
there
that look
was
like to you?
Honestly,
Because
I have no clue.
I don't think relegation's on the table.
I agree. There's no way.
They're not going to send the Minnesota.
And tonight, the
Timberwolves
Los
to the G
Angeles
League.
Lakers versus the Oklahoma City Blue, like
Yeah, they're not
0%
gonna do that.
chance of that happening.
So
I think.
yeah.
Is it
Other
more
than
lottery
fine,
reform?
Flatten the odds more.
That's
the
a
thing.
possibility.
That would
Like
have to be
I don't
the
know
thing.
what it looks like.
Or is it in like the NFL situation where you just go in order?
Well, if they go in order, that incentivizes
I think
tanking
that's-
so much
that's
more.
more
But that's the
tanking.
whole. That's where you drop hammers as far as fines go, and
that's true.
And possibility of losing picks.
Very true. Well, one thing they're doing is if you are over that second tax apron for like 2 years, then your first round pick automatically becomes the last pick in the draft.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of interesting as well.
I forgot about that. That's nuts.
Yeah, that's a wild one that it's going to
that
be
is
weird
nuts.
to see in practice.
Mhm.
Back to pick 8. Like they traded 3 firsts to buy pick 11 last year.
Yeah.
I could see them trading 12 and 3 firsts to go from 12 to 8.
Well, that player better be damn good, and Usman Jang better
Yeah.
be damn good too.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
totally with you on that. I look at next year. They have 4 firsts in 2024.
Sure.
This year, you let Saric just walk. You bring in that first round draft pick, and then you're still at 15.
Yep.
There's no way you're bringing in 4 rookies next year.
Right.
And when you get to draft night 2024, you're on the clock. Like those picks are losing value because teams know you got to trade them or you're going to make selections and then cut guys in August and we'll just pick them up then. So they kind of start to lose value the longer you let those 2024 picks hang on.
You think it's possible that they, like you said, consolidate and kick the can down the road for future picks?
It's totally unsexy, and it's definitely something that could happen.
And it's
You know how
definitely
much of
something
a
OKC
wet
does.
fart that would be on
Except-
draft night if they.
Well, that's the thing. It's,
Trade that Utah
Presti
top
does it
10
with second-round
protected.
picks all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
You trade the Utah top 10 protected and the Denver top 10 protected to get an unprotected in 2029.
That's what I'm saying.
I could 100% see it happening.
He's always thinking like 3 years into the future. He's not
Yeah.
like thinking right now.
Trading out. That's the one. Hey,
But that's
Justin
not-
can't
that's not
make
to
up
say
a
he
mock
would.
jersey for trading out of the draft.
Yeah, that's not to say he that's going to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. But they also, like you talk about precedent, they also have a history of kicking the can down the road just a little bit, unless you're the
Yeah.
Clippers. Then they kick the can down the road quite a bit just to wait to make sure your 2 superstars fail. And yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah. So, and a trade up to 8. I don't think I'm trading those really late Clippers picks
No.
just because you have no clue what those could be.
Yeah.
They have a Philly
You might
top
trade back.
4 protected pick in 2026. I mean, we know how fast things change. If Harden leaves and then they play a season and Joel says, yeah, I'm done with this, and he demands a trade, I mean, you could be talking about a top 10 pick there.
Sure.
Isn't Joel already like 29?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And injury prone.
Yeah.
Sure.
Um,
We could say the same thing for AD.
yeah.
Totally.
Funny thing is, especially about that Clipper pick, is that like in the late rounds, you could totally see OKC trading a late first rounder for 2 second rounders or something like that. They still do that crap all the time.
Definitely. So I don't know. That they have a Miami lottery protected pick in 25, and then it rotates over to an unprotected pick in 26. I mean, Miami is in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they were up 3-0 right now. But that's an old team.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy's
It
getting
is.
older. Kyle
done.
Lowry needs a walker.
Udonis Haslem's been in the league for 20 years.
Udonis Haslem's like 60 years old, dude.
Yeah.
You
don't believe
could
in
see
Tyler
that pick.
Hero?
You could see that pick becoming something. So I don't know. Could you trade the Utah top 10 protected that's next year? Could you trade that Miami lotto protected in 25 rotates over to 26 and trade the top 10 Denver protected pick plus 12 to get to 8?
I would not hate that because none of those picks are. And the Thunder's pick could be the highest out of
Yeah.
all of those.
They might trade their own picks
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, like in 4 years, who do I like better, Oklahoma City or the Clippers?
Yeah.
OKC.
No, like, and again, like OKC definitely could go up to 8, and I could totally see them trading all those things up to 8. But again, it's just very contextually based. But I think, I don't know. It would depend on the player they got. Apparently, it's subjective.
Definitely.
I think
Let's talk about those players in a second.
Yeah.
After we finish this exercise, I want to talk about who those trade up guys might be. Pick 9, Utah.
They probably they'd be more interested in moving up.
Yeah, I feel like Utah would
me.
be interested in moving up. I don't think they
And
would
you want to
trade.
talk about a team that has a lot of future assets.
Right.
The Mitchell
could do it.
trade, the Gobert trade. They're armed to the teeth
Yeah.
with picks. The only pick they don't have is their own. That's owned by Oklahoma City. Lots of people have said 12 plus give Utah their pick back. I think it might take a little bit more than that.
A little more, but not as much as the Washington one, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause
could you do 12 their own pick back and a young guy,
Trey Man.
a Trey Man, I don't see them moving Usman Jane considering they gave up 3 picks to get him.
Poku.
They better not.
Poku is extension eligible. That one's like kind of like a ticking time bomb. Either he works and you got to pay him or not. You know, you don't have as long of a runway.
Instead of JRE.
But yeah, like a JRE, a Trey Man, an Aaron Wiggins, those types of guys. I could see tossing in one of those plus Utah's pick back plus a couple of seconds.
That is way more easy for me to agree to than the Washington one we had just talked about, where you're trading your own pick and maybe 3 more and things like that. Like that is way more doable to me because one, it trims down the roster a bit for the Thunder, and you move up to take a guy that you think might have higher upside than the guys you're sending out.
Yeah. All right. Pick 10 belongs to the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah,
I think this pick is up for grabs.
Oh,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
They need to win right now.
There's a lot of different avenues you could go with this one too. 12 and another first. That way, basically, you're splitting the one asset, pick 10, into 2 assets that Dallas could then turn around and make 2 separate trades.
That's a
Bertans
good
and a
idea.
pick for something, and then Josh Green and a pick for something. They can make 2 moves instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could take back some of their bad salary. They give you 10, you give them 12, and you eat the Bertans contract. You eat the JaVale McGee contract, and that opens up some flexibility for Dallas to go out and make a free agency move.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of options there, actually.
I think 29 teams are calling Dallas right now.
Yeah,
Just to see what's
that's really
up.
interesting.
What's up, Mark? Not a lot. I'm on Shark Tank.
I think 2019s are calling Dallas for that pick because I think that pick, we talk about the Portland pick or the Houston pick. I think 10 is the most realistically available pick in this draft.
And it's like seemingly the easiest trade, but doesn't really accomplish what you've been talking about, which is getting off of picks.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. You're just sliding up. I mean, maybe you do one of those stronger protected, like they have a top 10 Denver protected pick. I think Denver's going to be good for a while. You never know, but I think Denver's going to win a title this year.
What do you mean by you never know?
Injuries.
I mean, we thought the KD Russ Harden team was going to stay together, and then it all blew up in one summer.
Oh,
You know,
I thought you were talking about injuries.
oh no, I mean,
MPJ
at some
is
point,
just
like
ready to crumble.
MPJ could want out, Jamal Murray could want out. Like it just takes one thing. But when you look at Denver right now, they're young, they're all on controlled contracts, they're really freaking good. They've got arguably the best player in basketball. That top 10 protected pick is going to convey the first year because it's going to be like pick 28 or 27.
Yeah.
Still wild to me to see how fast Aaron Gordon became a role player.
Yeah, he was
And I think
tasked
he's
with
way more
doing-
valuable now because of it.
Yeah, I agree. He was doing too much in Orlando, and now he just-
It's like the perfect fit for him in Denver.
Sure.
Yep.
It's so good.
I also like rings.
yes.
Pick 11, the Orlando Magic. I mean, from precedence of what I talked about earlier to move up from 12 to 11 in 2016 took the pick plus 2 seconds. I don't
they
know if
buy the
Orlando
pick
wants to
again?
move off it.
Could
but-
they just buy the pick again? Send 3 of the first from next year for that.
Get
pick
11 and
straight
12
up.
again.
The same damn thing. I don't know.
It's interesting. I think you could get 11. I think you could swap one spot with them. It's are you willing to pay the price?
Pay the
Which
price.
is I don't know what it'll be, but
I mean,
I don't think
unless
it's 2 seconds.
Unless it's the player that OKC really, really, really wants,
And you're afraid Orlando's going to take him.
and you're afraid they're going to take it, you do not make that. They don't do it.
That's the exact reason why they made the trade for Usman last year.
Yeah.
They liked Usman, but they didn't want anybody else taking pick 11 and taking Dub. It was basically an insurance policy. So,
Better not be Grady Dick.
So in that case, I think the pick is like maybe sure it's gettable, right? It's just one pick up.
Yeah.
But do I think Oklahoma City actually would do that? No. But
Yeah.
do I think they could do it in the 8 through 10 range, maybe a little bit earlier if they really wanted to? Sure.
yeah.
But will
So I
they?
think through this exercise, the kind of agreement we have here is if they're going to trade up, it's 8 through 10.
Yeah.
I think 7 through 3 is just going to be too rich for what they're willing to pay.
Yeah. The price is like a member of the young core at that point to move up.
And I don't think they want to do that.
It ain't worth it. Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
So who are some of those trade up guys? Like if they were to get the Washington pick at 8, what type
Yeah.
of what players do you think they're looking at?
A starter for one. I think to me that's Taylor Hendricks. That's Jarris Walker. I personally don't really like the idea of Cam Whitmore in OKC.
I feel like Cam doesn't fit OKC very
he doesn't.
much.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be awesome, but I don't think he fits the OKC thing.
Asar?
Yes, that's actually another one that'd be really good. The shooting is an issue, but I trust this team's development program to bring someone like that along because I think he has everything else.
Yeah. For me, you mentioned him. It's Jarris Walker. If he's there at 8,
Yeah,
I'm not the GM. I have no clue what in the hell Sam Presti thinks. Sam Presti might have Jarris like 30th on his board for all I know.
Sure.
yeah,
But when I see Jarris and I watch all these like scouting videos of him and all this film breakdown of him, he is the perfect intersection of the type of player OKC wants, which is high IQ, can make plays, quick decision maker, unselfish, seems like a high character guy from all the reports. So he's at the intersection of what the Thunder look for and the Thunder need, which is front court depth. He's He's got the dog in him.
He's very much so to me like a much higher ceiling version of like Jay Will, that in kind of playing that similar role.
I can see that for sure. He's I don't know. I go through cycles of like getting really high on a draft guy, and then I'll come down the other end of the roller coaster, and the next draft guy gets me up real high, and then I'll come down on them, and I'll get on the next one. But the one I keep coming back to is Harris. Yeah, Mitch McGary. No, like during this process, I've been like, oh, Anthony Black, and then I'll get off Anthony Black. I'm like, oh, it's Leonard Miller, and then now the Leonard Miller one has cooled for me, and for a while it was, man, I love Cason Wallace, and I still like those guys. But every time I come off a high of one of those players, it's always just Jarris Walker there in the background hanging out.
He's there for you. I like the idea of pairing just a buff boy like him next to Chet.
I just think about what is, because we don't know this. Sam Presti knows this. But what is the vision of this team for the future? Do they intend this past year? They have proven they can play a guy that would traditionally just play 2-3 at the 5.
Yeah.
And you add Chet to the mix. You're going to probably have you already have Usman Jang. You have Poku there, who I don't know if he lasts that long. You have JRE there. You have Jalen. You have the other Jalen Williams there. And so do you keep on adding front court players that are bigger bodied, or do you try to once again transcend the game / league in different ways and manipulate the league in different ways by playing a certain style of not necessarily small ball, because they're not small. They are probably besides the Milwaukee Bucks, they are probably one of the longest teams in the NBA as far as a height and wingspan perspective. However, they don't have the weight. I mean, that's where they struggled all year.
And none of them are more traditional front court players.
And that's the thing. So what is the vision of the future? Is the vision of the future that you have 5 positionless basketball players, but you have size and length? Or is it, hey, just for situational purposes, you're going to need a big, but would you, if that's the case, do you want to draft a big? Or are you drafting, like you guys are mentioning, forwards that are long, athletic, and tall, but not necessarily thick? And so I keep on thinking about what the dream is for this basketball team, because you have a point guard that's how tall is Josh? 6'6",
6'8", 6'9".
Okay,
He claims he's
that's
6'9".
right. He was bigger. That's right. Yeah. So you have a point guard that's like 6'8", 6'9", whatever. You've got a shooting guard in Lou Dort currently, who is 6'4", 6'3", somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Shea 6'6", J-Dub 6'6" or 6'7" with 7'3" wingspan. And then you have Poku,
Spaghetti.
Poku, who's there this year, and then you're eventually gonna have Chet. And it's stupid. So
it's
like,
stupid.
What do you?
I think the answer is find the guy who played point guard and then hit a massive growth spurt, because that's what they love.
Yeah, I really
the
can't.
The J-Dubs, the Usmans.
All right, then go get Ben Simmons.
Oh God.
Hey, I argued that like 2 years ago, and then now I know you like did. A damn idiot.
Look where we are now.
I didn't know he was going to have a mental crisis, though. So
it's really hard for me to imagine what this team is going to look like with Chet on it. So a lot of these predictions I make as far as who they will take and how they will fit amongst the team are, whether I like it or not, are kind of based on how the team played last year, and they could play quite a bit different with Chet out there, and the identity of the team could change and evolve more. And I don't know, like Kamiar was saying, I don't know what.
And it's super hard to wrap your mind around it, because OKC, they don't necessarily, I mean, sure, they have patterns of how they run their team and how they develop their roster, because it is a small market, but they have been very unpredictable in their picks. First of all, like the draft parties we've been to, and they say the name and everybody says, who the hell is that? And everybody's on their phone Googling it.
Yeah.
Or they just sometimes will like make a big move and go all in on PG, who saw that coming. They said, well, the Portland Trailblazers, that was, the Jeremy Grant thing or whatever it was. That was the trade rumor. And then next thing you're trading Demonis for Demonis Sabonis or whatever,
Yeah.
And so it's just OKC in general, the Woj, Shams, they don't ever have their picks in early. It's after the pick is made because they are unpredictable because they're so tight-lipped as an organization.
It's always pretty entertaining to see them not tweet whenever OKC's on the clock.
Yes, it is very entertaining to see. It's great.
Sometimes you have someone tweet the wrong pick. Sorry, Nick.
God.
All right. Let's take another quick break. On the other side, we have a draft game with JD that I'm looking forward to. We'll hit some quick around the association, and then we'll call it a podcast. So we'll be right back. All right, Silva. Tell us about your draft game.
Hey, everybody. It's me. Jacob tasked me. So you guys and Nick played a little game where he kind of described a player's game, and you kind of guessed who that player was based on the attributes he was listing. It was awesome. It's great. I bring to you the horrible version of that, where I present to you a shitty nickname, and based on that description, the nickname, however I set you up, you choose which player it is. You guess.
And they're from this draft class.
For this draft class,
this was born out of Silva concocting Lenny Long for Leonard Miller, just straight out of his butt on like a podcast a week ago.
Uh-huh.
So that's where this came from.
I'm not going to do very well at this. I'm going to fail this exam.
You can bring up the list of names if you would like, anywhere.
I'm not a cheater. All y'all.
I got to pick and choose here as far as the order I go.
So how many do we have?
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 nicknames. We got to guess the 2023
If I
prospect.
read them all, we'll see how this is going. Could be 6. We'll see.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. First one, I'm just going to tee you up a little softball here. How about Girth God?
Not Wemby. Is this one Jarris?
It absolutely is.
The Girth God.
The Girth God.
Like
I hope Justin is listening to this for the shirt ideas.
Yes. This is basically all these are shirt ideas, Justin. Another one. This one is a little more difficult. How about no comment?
No comment.
Because when I was trying to think of nicknames for this player, all of them took a very dark turn and would lead to
Greedy Dick.
No. Because of things that are going on with this player's personal life, I could not create a nickname that was not that.
It's Brandon Miller.
It is Brandon Miller. No comment is his nickname.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, here's another one for you.
Could also call them Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I almost said like wrong place, wrong time. That'd be really
have-
bad. So
we should stop. We should move on.
Here's what we're gonna do. What about Tony B and his hog?
It's Anthony Black.
It absolutely is, Kamiar. Okay.
I can't believe you said Tony B and his hog. Are there
Silva's also the one. There was a game this
feral
season.
hogs?
There was a game this season where Jay Will and Isaiah Joe were hooping, and Silva just tweeted hogs out.
Jeez.
Okay.
Oh God.
Okay, we have another one that'll probably piss Nick off. This one, his nickname is Empty Jim.
Empty Jim?
Because what he's doing at
is
his
this-
gym.
Is this Nick Smith Jr.?
No.
Keontae George.
No.
What?
He has been impressing in an empty gym, showing
Cam Whitmore.
showing a skill that people did not know he had. It
Not
is-
Cam Whitmore?
Nick
No.
Smith Jr.
He's an option for the Mavs at 10 if they decide to keep the pick because of a position of need.
Oh, this is Derek Lively.
It is. He is
been
making
shooting
threes in
threes.
empty gyms. Yep. Okay.
Hey, that empty gym footage has looked good.
It has. Can't lie.
It looked great for Darius Baisley.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's not talk about that.
Okay, before we take another dark turn. Well, this one's fine. How about Okay, so we all know what Evan Fournier's nickname is. Don't Google me.
Oh yeah.
How about don't Google me either?
Grady Dick.
It is Grady Dick. But let me tell you the rabbit hole I went down with Grady Dick. It's a gold mine.
Did you accidentally press a V instead of the D?
No. It's a gold mine for nicknames. So I was just thinking of like a lot of these. I would think about a popular nickname in the NBA and be like, how can I just riff on that? So I was like, bear with me here. I was like, Agent Zero. That's cool. What is there anything there? What number does Grady Dick wear? Is that gonna work? What about 00 Dick? No,
It's like that in the movie Superbad when he had a problem as a child where he was addicted to drawing
Penises, and he stored them in the lunch pail.
and he stored them in the lunch pail. And then
I guess this nickname could have been 8 = D.
Gosh,
that is correct.
that's I.
Do I have
Give us
any
our
that
next
are-
one.
Do I have
Dick
any
with a
more that are
3.
like truly appropriate here? This one's really nice. I'm actually proud of this one. You're not gonna get it, but I'm gonna throw it out. What about the author?
The author?
Because his name sounds like that of a popular author.
Hold on.
What's
Give
his
me a-
range?
Give me a
He just
shot.
has a bit. Let's see what his official range is here. It's not. It's outside the lottery by just a hair.
By hair?
I think I've heard Taylor and Nick talk about this guy before.
I don't know. Derek Whitehead?
It's
Jeff Howard.
Maxwell Lewis.
Maxwell Lewis.
That's
Okay.
a beautiful name for an author. That's how I bring us down after the names I said earlier.
Would you buy? Do you buy books based off of how beautiful the author's name is?
No, absolutely not.
If they use initials as their first and middle name and then a full last name, like J.D. Silva,
Yeah,
or I don't know, those ones, good authors.
it's great.
R.R. Martin,
Let's see.
J.R.R.
Okay,
Tolkien.
There's two more, and I don't know if I'm gonna say them. Well, we've already taken a very dark turn with this podcast. I'm probably just gonna.
We can edit them out.
I'll say okay. This whole segment might need to be edited out after this. How about don't call him shitty? It's City Sissoko.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh
Last
my
one.
God.
I can't do this last one, guys.
All right. We'll save the last one for
Okay.
the uncontested after
I
dark.
texted this one to Jacob earlier.
Did you?
Yes. And I will not be uttered on the pod, I don't think.
Yeah, we're gonna get.
You'll get it after the pod's over.
Full disclosure.
You did not send me one.
I was ready to move on to certain things, and if we get canceled on YouTube,
Yeah,
it's
well,
Silva getting canceled. I am
is
not
correct.
implicated in any of this.
that is correct.
All right. We're at an hour 10. Do we have time for around the association, or are we calling it a night?
You could definitely make it pretty quick, just like it's gonna happen.
Let's do it, Silva.
All right. All right.
I don't even know where you sitting at. Like,
All right, boys. Game 7. Who you got?
Boston.
Dude, I kind of have Boston, which is insane because the
Boston.
teams are 0 and 150 when being down 0-3, but it feels like Boston at this point.
We're going to get a first time ever. That's insane. So my question for you, if Boston wins, should the narrative be how impressive it is for Boston to come back from the grave?
Yes.
Or should it be the massive crumbling of the Miami Heat?
It's Boston coming back from the grave because trying to beat somebody 4 times in a row is very, very, very difficult. I mean, not to say that Miami didn't win 3 times in a row, but Boston doesn't have Miami does not have the players. They don't have the depth. They don't have the quality of talent. They don't have the juice every night, as we saw with Jimmy Butler. Even though it looked like it appeared they had won, which Derek White had that last second tip in that we talked about at the very beginning of the pod. I don't think Miami is gonna be able to make it, and so this is for me. Boston doing what they should have been doing the entire time, which is Jason Tatum if you want to be a star, and you want to be a superstar in the NBA, you need to act like it. You need to play like it. Go to the lane. Stop shooting jump shots or just giving the ball away to Jaylen Brown or Derek White or somebody like that. That's stupid. And so to me, it's Boston showing the resilience. I mean, that Al Horford block last night or whatever when it was, that was big down the stretch as we saw. And it is a big comeback by Boston to defeat Jimmy Butler and those dudes 4 games in a row because they held them in check for 3 straight games.
I'm totally with you. I mean, the Heat got to where they are because of just extraordinary shooting by everyone, but especially guys like Caleb Martin, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, just playing way, way, way above their means. And, good for them for making it this far.
Short bench.
The gas just ran out. Yeah. And injuries for Miami doesn't help.
Right.
If Boston wins Monday night, what is your finals prediction and how many games?
I don't want to be too harsh. It feels like Denver. I'm for sure picking Denver. It feels like
Denver in 6.
Yeah. 6. Yeah, 6.
I'll go 5.
I almost said 5.
I almost said 5 because of how tired Boston's legs are going to be.
Been hanging out for a week, dude.
Yeah, and been able to scout for several games. All sets and everything. I wanted to say Denver in 5, but I will give the benefit of the doubt of Jason Tatum just going nuts because of the guys they have in the backcourt / front court. In comparison to what Miami would have obviously offered. If it was Miami, it would have been a sweep.
I agree.
But I think Boston, obviously, I think they get 2 games, excuse me.
It's I love the Denver-Boston matchup. We talked about Aaron Gordon on Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You get Brown on
Horford on Jokic.
Yeah, that could be good, but
that's a fun matchup. I
like Horford, but Jokic is.
I'm really excited about that matchup.
We talked a lot about how Anthony Davis is like cooked in a lab to guard someone like Jokic, and Jokic gave him 27, 14, and 10 for a series. Like
totally different games. Yeah. Totally different games.
I agree, but I just think Jokic is stupid good.
It'll be tough.
The skill level of that guy is.
I also
get drafted during a Taco Bell commercial, and doing this is incredible.
I also don't think that Al Horford is asked to do as much on offense as AD was asked to do for the Lakers.
True.
Where I think Al Horford's main objective is, like free flow the offense. Make your assists here or there, get the rebounds. If you get easy buckets on pick and rolls or pick and pops, cool. They're not asking him to do much on offense, which allows him to save his energy to do what needs to do against Jokic. And he's a high IQ player. Not saying that AD isn't, but I think it's kind of different circumstances as far as saving your body and repairing. But again, Al Horford's just going through a 7-game series.
And he's old.
And he's older.
Yeah. Marcus Smart guarding
Jamal
Murray. I mean, it'll be a fun matchup. Denver's got too much.
Denver's the one team that has not messed around in these playoffs.
Denver's been awesome, dude. So good.
I could see Boston. I could see if Boston actually played to their potential, I could see them actually winning.
That's the thing. Yeah.
That's what frustrates me the most.
Yeah.
Like Jason
so
Tatum
talented.
has the talent to go nuclear every single game, and he's MIA a lot. Jaylen Brown, same situation.
They just have nobody to facilitate the offense is the problem.
They don't. They're
Al Horford used to be that guy,
right? And now it's like Marcus Smart. They can't like. I've heard this on podcasts recently, but like Jokic and Jamal Murray, they can run pick and rolls together, create as many open shots and mismatches as they want. Jaylen and Jason cannot do that because you're just switching the 2 best wing defenders. So that's how it is.
And this is what's happening in Los Angeles, but in the Clippers. But these guys keep on getting hurt. Their wings.
Yeah, same thing.
Yep. Totally agree. All right. I think that's all for us, guys.
Yes.
Yippers.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any thoughts or ideas on trade-up possibilities for the Thunder in this draft, hit us up on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Drop it in the YouTube comments. If you also have any other fun nicknames that JD didn't already hit,
I'm so sorry for that segment.
drop those as well. Would love to hear those. We will be back with you guys again Wednesday night, talking more NBA draft, talking NBA finals, because we will know the matchup. I don't know when game 1 is. Is it Wednesday night? Thursday night?
Thursday. It's Thursday.
Thursday night. So we'll be talking NBA finals as well. Come hang out with us if you don't already. Sub to the YouTube channel so you can watch us live. There's on the podcast version. Thank you so much. Go drop that 5-star wherever you listen to your pods at. We'll see you guys in a few days. Enjoy, if you're in America, your holiday, your extra day off on Monday. If you're abroad, have a good Monday. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Until then, and as always, Thunder up.